Hello and welcome back to Ada Pulse, the community-funded channel keeping you up to date with all the news and emerging projects that are in and around the Cardano ecosystem. And because we're community-funded, remember there is no coin shilling, paper motion, we don't really even discuss token price. We're just here to disseminate information and deliver it to you in a way that's easy for you to understand. Now, on that note, we are discussing CIPs, or Cardano Improvement Proposals. Now we take a closer look as they are quite a vital cog in the development of Cardano. And it's by one of our newer writers, Cardano 420, who's been recently onboarded. And that's only thanks to the funding that we get from you guys. So on that note, do remember to click the like button, hit subscribe and hit that bell button so you can get notified as soon as we've got content available. And do share far and wide. We're an educational platform and we do want to reach as many people as possible. Now, I'm Josh from ATM Stake Pool, your presenter of Ada Pulse for today. Let's crack on with this. Now, Cardano is a living, breathing global network, and all ADA holders should kind of consider themselves as stakeholders of the actual network. And each and every one of us can contribute to the evolution of the chain. And everyone's got something unique to offer. Everyone's different. But what Cardano has implemented is the Cardano Improvement Proposal process. Basically inspired by Bitcoin's improvement proposal process, and Ethereum did the same thing. Now, the basic question being asked, how does a decentralized network grow and advance in a methodical way without getting brittle and stagnant? Well, it's the CIP process is the way forward. Remember, CIP. But it demands input and participation from the whole Cardano community if it's going to be any kind of effective tool. Now, Cardano 420 describes engaging with CIPs as an edifying activity, basically saying it's a great way to learn about Cardano. But it does provide a channel for communicating with others in a productive way, not like these Twitter spats that you often see. And as you interact with the intricacies of the CIP process, and all the sort of advanced concepts that it contains, we're reminded that each of us can play an active role in the development of Cardano, whether it be a big change or a small change, or even both, in the progression of the network to make it even more powerful than it already is. Now, an example of a great CIP was CIP 30, the Cardano dApp wallet web bridge. I mean, it was inspired by other chains like on Ethereum and Ergo. But basically, if you've seen that connect wallet button on your favorite dApp, whether it be JPEG Store, MinSwap, whatever, it's a nice smooth process. And that means you've experienced the concepts that were laid out in CIP 30. So it's a very useful innovation in Cardano that was brought to life by the CIP process. And it's just one of a shitload of examples. CIP 1. CIP process. Now, a Cardano Improvement Proposal, or CIP, is a design document, basically, meant to provide sort of a detailed description of a new feature that you want to add to the network. Now, the Cardano Foundation just basically wants to see all sort of beneficial augmentations presented to the community as a CIP, so it can then be discussed openly with everyone, and it's all fully documented as well. Now, there are three kinds of CIPs. Now, check this out. So you have standard track, so that's any change that affects most or all of Cardano implementations. Process, that's proposals that change a process surrounding Cardano. Then there's informational, so it provides general guidelines or information to the Cardano community, like metadata standards, something like that. Now, all CIPs should be assembled with basically these following parts. So you have your preamble, your abstract, motivation, specification, your rationale, backwards compatibility, path to active, and copyright. How does it work? So anyone who's got an idea for improving the network and thinks it's worthwhile has the option to propose it to the community and discuss it. Now, at this stage, it's vital that the CIP elicits some sort of substantial level of community curiosity or support, because basically the work required from the proposer to formalize the idea, it would just be completely wasted if no one gives a shit about it and no one wants to implement it. But also, based on the feedback you receive, the proposer can probably formally, submit the idea. Now, check out this image. This is where you submit it to the CIP repository. Now, at this stage, the CIP is then considered like a draft stage. So basically, there are CIP editors who review the drafts, and they are known to serve as stewards of the Cardano ecosystem. And basically what they're doing is reading proposals and checking them for, how sound they are, how complete they are. But they also ensure that drafts are formatted correctly, have had enough time for suitable discussions to take place in the community. Because if no one's talking about it, it can't really move forward. But it's got to have valid motivations and backwards compatibility as well. But essentially, an editor, if they feel a draft isn't ready, their job is to notify the author and provide details of how to, of suggested revisions. Proposed stage. So basically, if your proposal is accepted, an editor will assign it a CIP number and type. Rejected proposals will be given their reasoning, so they can still change. It's not the end of the road for them. But every CIP needs a public page that can host comments from editors and reviewers in the community. These reviewers should probably resist the urge to comment on things that are outside of their expertise, because you're going to end up looking a fool and it's really not very helpful. But participation is open to everyone, and we don't agree with censoring that. If for whatever reason a proposer can't work on advancing their CIP, they can change the status to just on hold. Now, when the author of a CIP feels confident that it's complete and has a path to active, which has been verified by the community and approved by an editor, the CIP status should be changed to proposed. Now, the path to active must be provided in the CIP in its own section. Active status for a CIP means that it has been adopted by ADA holders, Cardano stake pools, exchanges, and dApps. Now, if an original author of a CIP doesn't, have the inclination or even the time to continue with their CIP and make it push forward, they can transfer the ownership so someone else can take it forward. Now, if a CIP is being neglected or just sitting idle, a community member can send a message to both the author and the editor requesting to basically take ownership of that CIP and move it forward. Now, changes to CIP ownership is reversible, and the original proposer will still be credited as co-author to maintain, the historical record. Motivation. Now, according to CIP 0001, let's just call it CIP 1, check this out. The motivation for, they mean the Cardano Improvement Proposals, is to create a public platform that can be used for sharing Cardano improvement ideas and specifications with the community, allowing the Cardano network to grow and advance over time. Now, CIP 1 was authored by Frederick Johnson, Sebastian Guillemot, Matthias Bencourt, and Duncan Coutts to establish the procedure for developing and implementing CIPs. Now, I'm going to quickly go through these guys because these guys aren't nobodies. You've got Frederick Johnson, who was formerly the technical project manager for the Cardano Foundation. He isn't listed as a team member on there anymore, I don't think. Now, Sebastian Guillemot is the co-founder and CTO of DC Spark. Now, if you haven't heard of DC Spark, then you probably haven't been watching many of our videos. Then there's Matthias Bencourt. So he's technical director of open source development at the Cardano Foundation as well. So then there's Duncan Coutts, who is technical architect at the big old IOHK. Now, from an editor's point of view. See, Sebastian Guillemot, he had a chat with Cardano 420, a brief interview, basically, for this article. And as a CIP editor from literally day one, you can imagine he has a pretty unique perspective on the whole process. And this is what he says. The CIP process is doing a relatively good job with the resources and developers available. It's been a success so far, and continues to improve. Then he was asked how the average ADA holder can best contribute to the process. And this is what he said. The main thing you can do is read proposals and support the ones you would like to see implemented. Share your opinions in the comments and spread the word in the community. Which makes sense because a SIP does need support to move forward. Now, if you're planning or interested in suggesting your idea for improving Cardano to the community and potentially submitting a SIP, you should read through some of the existing discussions and proposals first. Now, you can then share a draft to the forum and discuss it with everyone before posting a more sort of developed proposal to the SIP repository. Next, be on standby for feedback or approval from an editor. Now that brings us to the end of the article, and I hope it's been super helpful to you. SIPs, Cardano Improvement Proposals are things we talk about quite a lot. And like I said at the very beginning, they play quite a crucial role in the development. But they do need community support. So if you hold any ADA at all, it's worth checking them out. And, and just digging around. And like Cardano 420 says, it's an educational process in itself, just going through it. So, but before I go, do remember to click the like button, hit subscribe, and hit that bell button so you can get notified as soon as we've got content available. The full article, as usual, can be found on the ADA Pulse website, along with a lot of other videos that we don't get time to make videos for. And do remember to check out our TikTok. We are on TikTok now, so we do need support on there too. So do head over, give us a like and a follow, and so you can check out little snippets of our videos from there. Now, I'm Josh from ATM Staple, your presenter for today, and that's it. Bye-bye for now.